Blessing. This is a modification video. So for those of you who are unable to go all the way down to the floor, you can use a chair to do some of your yoga poses and positioning. For instance, this could be your comfortable seat. Make sure your back is straight. Your feet are flat on the ground, like this. And so when you do cat and cow poses, inhale and exhale, and you can do it right here in the chair. Inhale, drop the belly, exhale, cat. So right here, you'll be able to do cow and cat. You can do those positionings from here. The other positionings like forward fold, and any other ones that require us to stand, you can use the chair to help you to balance. And you can also use the chair to fold in. So for instance, in forward fold, you maybe can't go all the way down to here. So use your chair as a base and go down like this. Same with downward facing dog. You may say, I can't go all the way to the ground. I can't do downward dog at this time. Again, make sure your chair is sturdy. And this can help you to do as much as downward dog as you can. This way, or perhaps if you can get lower, you can use it this way. And so again, to modify the positions, think about using a chair. Make sure your chair is sturdy enough that you can lean on it and you can sit on it as well, and that it's sturdy. So again, comfortable seat from here. Same thing when we close, when we take our Savasana and you're saying, I can't lay all the way on the ground, and maybe you don't have a couch or your bed available, use your chair. To get comfortable, use, again, your block or your blanket to make sure you're comfortable, to support your back if that's what you need, as much support as you need. And you also can use your bolster, again, or your block. And this way you're supporting your back and the rest of your body. So doing asana, doing yoga pose and position is not about being perfect. It's about being able to allow your body to move and interact in the way that it needs to for your benefit. And so with time and with your practice, you will get better at some things and you will begin to see some results in those areas that possibly challenged you before. So I hope this helps you. If you have any questions, please reach out to me in the comment section and I will get back to you. But I hope this modification video was helpful for you. And as we continue to go on, I will bring you more modifications as we go. Thank you so much. Have a blessed day. Bye.
Blessings. Shalom, Hotep to all of you on this day. Welcome to Kemet Yoga and African Dance session number 3. I hope you have enjoyed sessions 1 and sessions 2. Today we're going to do something a little bit differently. So as I'm speaking and sharing with you, I invite you at this time to take your comfortable seat, your Sukhasana, your easy seat or lotus pose, and begin to do your breath work. This week I am going to combine our teachings along with our poses. So I will be thoroughly going through and breaking down sun salutations called in Kemet Yoga, the journey of Ra. And I will also, towards the end of the video, identify other standing poses and positioning to go along with your sun salutation. So this day we would do more standing poses, whereas on other days in these sessions we done things more on the floor. And so I just want to remind you that a practitioner of yoga must be able to integrate the main practices of yoga into their daily life. This means that you need to begin adding small amounts of time for prayer and repetition of the divine exercises that you are being taught, and this includes proper breathing exercises. So study the teachings that I've been giving you. You need to take time in silence. You need to be reminded to do what's considered selfless service, and we will discuss that a little later. You need to practice meditation and daily reflection. So this also means that you will gradually reduce the practices and the activities that sort of go against what it means to do yoga and yogic movement, because you will begin to gain more time, again, to spend in relationship with God, the Creator, your divine self developing, and therefore you spiritually growing. And that is the reason why we do what we are doing. And so keep that in mind. And then I want to share something that Jesus said. And Jesus said, "Cast not your pearls before swine, for they will be trampled upon them as they turn against you." Jesus invites us to turn to the omniscient divine self that knows past, present, and future, who manifests as nature, and understand that there are many people that understand their path and their journey differently. But again, the path and the journey is also what unites us. And so spread the teachings of yoga and your faith to other people, not only to those who think like you or believe like you, but this is all about us coming together, interaction taking place that will help to increase both our understanding and also help us to generate a positive frame of mind. And so I want us to remember, because some people on here may identify as religious or having a faith, whether it's Christianity, Islam, Buddhism, whatever. Maybe some people don't ascribe to what they call God, or a higher supreme understanding. And that's okay. Wherever you are in your walk of life, there's this understanding of our belief as myth. And that just means what it is that we hold as our understanding, our truth, our faith, is what we try to put out there. And so myth, not as in it's a lie, but myth as in the stories that have been handed down through oral tradition and written tradition that we take on and we try to share with others. So all that we do in regards to whatever it is we believe or not is based upon myth, and then couple that with ritual. And ritual is the movements that emulate the divine. And so what we might consider temple practices, those things for us who go to temple or go to church building, where we go to the altar and pray, we kneel down and pray. And although you may not see that connection with yoga expression, you should, because this all promotes physical health and the balancing of the life forces, as well as awakening us in different ways and helping us grow closer to the God we understand and serve, and also the way we understand and see ourselves as divine beings. So my main goal and focus here is to bring us together no matter what our traditions or our beliefs are, but bringing us together to help us to understand that we are in this world together and we are journeying together. And we can come together one with each other to learn and to grow spiritually for the benefit of what we would say the kingdom of God, for the benefit of all people to tap into what we consider their divine selves so that we can get to that place of peace and understanding and love and joy and all the things that we believe God would have us to do and to understand. And so at this time, as you continue to take your breaths, we are going to prepare to do sun salutations. And so what I'm going to do first is talk a little bit about sun salutations, and then there will be a part in the video where you would join in with me to do the poses. And so to start, sun salutations help to increase your energy circulation. They lengthen and tone your muscles. It's a way of experiencing moving meditation. And it also helps us to practice honor and respect. And so sun salutations begin first with mountain pose, Tadasana. And so in this video, you're going to have an opportunity to see me do the poses and then join in. So again, sun salutations begin with mountain pose, Tadasana. Also, we call it Haru, victory in Kemet yoga. And we understand that mountain pose is a foundational pose, and it's also a transitional pose. It helps us to go into other poses easily. And so Tadasana is about strengthening the legs. It increases self-awareness, and it is also about your posture. And so again, we start in Tadasana, and then we go to extended mountain pose, Urdhva Hastasana, mountain pose, extended mountain pose. In Kemet yoga, we call that Shu, which means creation. And extended mountain pose stretches our side body, stretches our spine, it relaxes our shoulders, and it also helps to lift us up. So we have Tadasana, Urdhva Hastasana, and then we go to forward fold, Uttanasana, also called nut position. And this position again helps us to stretch out our back, lengthen our spine. It stretches our hamstrings, our calves, and our hips. It's also a good way to take a moment for introspection. From Uttanasana, we're going to go to halfway lift, Ardha Uttanasana. And halfway lift is a part, again, of the sun salutations, as we know. And halfway lift helps to elongate the front and back torso. And it also creates a natural back bend or arch in the lower back. And so I'm just going to repeat that as you follow along. We have mountain pose, Tadasana, shoulders are down, ribs are knitted together, hips are down, our knees are slightly bent, and our feet are grounded, Tadasana. We inhale up to extended mountain pose, Urdhva Hastasana. And then we're going to exhale down to forward fold, Uttanasana. We're going to inhale up to halfway lift, Ardha Uttanasana. Now we're going to prepare to take our vinyasa. So that's a series of poses that go together. And the first pose in our vinyasa is plank pose. So your legs are straight, your toes are tucked, your shoulders are over your wrists, your neck and your head is in alignment with your spine, your ribs are knitted together, your thighs are engaged. Plank pose. From plank pose, we lower down down to what's called Chaturanga Dandasana, four-limbed staff pose. You lower down, and then you inhale up to upward facing dog, or to cobra pose, or to sphinx pose. So you have an option of going to cobra pose, asa, buju asana, which stretches the muscles in the shoulder, or you can come all the way up to upward facing dog, urdhva mukha savasana. So it is up to you. Do what your body allows for you to do. An upward facing dog, this strengthens our back, our arms, and our legs, and it also opens up our heart. From cobra or sphinx position or upward facing dog, we are going to go to downward facing dog, Adho Mukha Savasana. And so you're going to exhale down, and then you're going to inhale up to downward facing dog. So you have to tuck the toes and come all the way up. Again, making sure we're in alignment, our neck and our head is in alignment with the rest of our spine. This is also called pyramid position. From downward facing dog, Adho Mukha Savasana, we're going to bend the knees and look forward, and you're going to either step or jump forward and go to halfway lift, Ardha Uttasana. And then you're going to exhale down to forward fold, Uttasana. And then you're going to inhale up to extended mountain pose, Urdhva Hastasana. And then you're going to exhale back down to mountain pose, Tadasana. And so we're going to do that one more time. And we're going to take it all the way through. So join me as we stand in mountain pose, Tadasana. Shoulders are down, spine is long, and your feet are grounded, and your palms are on top of your legs. Mountain pose. Inhale up to extended mountain pose, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale down to forward fold, Uttanasana. And inhale up to halfway lift, Ardha Uttasana. We're going to take our vinyasa, which is the exhale down to plank pose, Pala Asana. We're going to take our Chaturanga Dandasana, which is our four-limb staff pose. And we're going to inhale up to cobra pose, sphinx pose, or to upward facing dog. And you're going to hold it there. And you're going to exhale down. Inhale back up by tucking the toes, pushing the hips back and up, and go to downward facing dog, Adho Mukha Savasana. You can take a moment to pedal your feet. And we're going to exhale down by bending our knees. We're going to inhale, look forward, and step or walk or jump forward. We're in halfway lift position. Exhale it out. Inhale back up. And then exhale down to forward fold, Uttanasana. And hang out here for a moment. And now we're going to slowly inhale and roll all the way up to extended mountain pose, Urdhva Hastasana. Take some breaths. And you're going to exhale down to mountain pose, Tadasana. And so that's all of the sun sun salutations, traditional sun salutations done in your yoga practice. It is Surya Namaskar A. Now I'm going to show you the Journey of Ra pose series. So just continue to stand in mountain pose at this time, Tadasana. And I'm going to show you the similarities between the traditional sun salutations and what they call in Kemet Yoga the Journey of Ra pose series. And so the Journey of Ra pose series is actually a journey within the larger journey of this whole yoga program. It means understanding the cycle of daily creation through which God sustains creation at every moment. And we know that creation is not just an event that occurred billions of years ago. It is an ongoing process. Every day we journey in the physical world through our mind and physical body. And so to help us understand the journey of Ra, we understand how it relates to sun salutation, that Ra, R-A, in the form of the sun, exemplifies true selfless service. It is knowing how important it is in sustaining life on earth, yet it is about putting forth our life-giving essence without asking for anything in return. So this is about our human kindness, or humankind, that understands that this is about So this is about the journey of Ra posture flow, us understanding keeping the qualities of bliss, peace, consistency, and self-effort, repeated effort, sustained effort, perseverance, and selfless service. This is what the journey of Ra teaches us, but this is also what we are to practice. And so we understand that selfless service and the freedom to freely give of oneself, that this is the life-giving essence that we all should practice, and that must be practiced. It's how nature understands itself. It's how nature, all of creation, practice being free and giving selfless service. If this did not take place, the earth would not be here. The earth could not exist. So I invite you every morning, as I shared with you before, to do your sun salutations and what you're learning today in the Kemet Yoga practice as the journey of Ra. When you wake up, if you're able, go outside and see and feel the sun as it shines on you. Feel the warmth and allow the life-giving energy to penetrate your very being, so that throughout the day, when you are called upon to help others, you can do the same. Give freely of yourself, willingly, without asking for anything in return, because that is what the sun, S-U-N, as well as the Son, S-O-N, him be the Messiah, Yahshua, Jesus the Christ, this understanding of giving yourself freely, this understanding of selfless service. So we learned this by, again, the S-U-N, but also the S-O-N. And so now at this time, we are going to do the journey of Ra. So I hope as you were standing in Tadasana, you were practicing some of your breathing, taking some inhale and some exhales, because you have to begin to cultivate your own practice and do things that you understand that your body needs. So I invite you at this time, as you are standing in Tadasana, and we're going to do only the 12 positioning of the journey of Ra. So exhale and bring your hands together in prayer position, also called Hetep pose. And you're going to inhale, raising your arms in front of you, and then over your head, and we're going to bend backwards. Reach back as far as you can, keeping your pelvis tucked in and arching your upper back. Now you are going to keep your back straight and your arms extended straight in alignment with your neck. And you're going to bend all the way down, folding over, bringing your hands to your feet and placing them, if you're able to, flat onto the ground or on the floor alongside your feet. Please bend your knees if you need to. You're going to inhale your right foot back, pointing the toes behind you, and raise your head up, looking back as far as you can, pushing your pelvis down to give a good stretch. You can balance yourself with your palms placed flat on the floor or on the tips of your fingers if you're not very flexible. But we want you to work towards placing the palms flat on the floor, and you will get there. Now I invite you to tuck the toes of the right leg under, and holding the breath, place your left leg back alongside the right leg and come up into the nut pose, an inverted V. And here you can see some of the similarities as you saw in some of the other poses with sun salutations, the traditional sun salutations. Try to push your heels of your feet flat on the floor and your head down between your arms to give a good stretch. Now, keeping your buttocks in the air, exhale and lower your knees to the floor, pointing your toes, then arching the back, lower the chest and chin, or your forehead if you're able to, down to the ground. Now inhale and push up with your arms, keeping your elbows bent, raising your head and chest up, and arch backwards as far as you can, keeping your abdomen and pelvis on the floor as you raise yourself up, and you will find yourself in Cobra pose. Keep your elbows tucked into your sides as much as possible. And just continue to take your breaths. And now we are going to do the second half of the posture series, which is basically doing everything we did in reverse. So now we are going to go back into exhale, and we're going to go back into the nut pose and inverted V. Also, you can be familiar with downward facing dog. We're going to press our heels and head to the floor. We're going to inhale and bring the right foot all the way forward between the hands, looking up and back. If you're able, grab the ankle with the right hand and move into position. Push down on the pelvis while looking up and back to give a good stretch. Exhale and place the left foot forward between the hands and straighten the legs so that you are folded over. Hands flat on the floor, fingers in line with the toes. Inhale, and again, keeping your arms extended and aligned with your neck and the back straight. Raise up, bending forward, then stretching straight up, and then all the way backwards, not allowing the pelvis to push forward, but keeping it tucked in. Reach over the head, and now exhale and lower your arms, then alongside your body. So this is considered one cycle, just like we did with the sun salutations. So we would repeat this using our left leg. And you can continue to do as many cycles as you like. And so we're going to take this series again, but I just wanted to remind you that the journey of Ra posture is a good pose to wake yourself up in the morning, and it helps to jumpstart your metabolism. And even if you don't have time to do other postures, again, I always share with you that you should do sun salutations. So we understand the journey of Ra as sun salutations. So again, sun salutations, the journey of Ra, it relaxes and it stretches all your muscles and your joints in your body. It massages the internal organs. So it's also, very good for a warm-up exercise. And of course, there are great spiritual benefits from doing this. So again, I invite you to do this. So as you take a moment to take some breaths, we're going to go through this cycle again. And so I'm going to, again, interchangeably do the sun salutations and the journey of Ra, because again, the poses are the same. They only differ in name. And even though they differ in name, the poses, again, come together because the benefits are the same as well. And so with the journey of Ra, just like in the sun salutations, and you should prepare yourself now, we are going to stand in what's known as Tadasana. And they call it in Kemet Yoga Het pose and prayer position. So in Tadasana, we tend to start with our hands on top, our palms on top of our thighs, but you can also start in prayer position, which we are invited to do in the Kemet Yoga Het pose. And then we're going to inhale and raise the arms up in front of us. Same way we do with sun salutations, mountain pose. But the difference here is we're going to take a slight bend backwards and just inhale and exhale. Then we're going to inhale up and we're going to exhale all the way down to forward fold. And it is here again, even though we're bending all the way down and we're folding over, we invite you to try to place your hands to your feet, if you're able to, or on the floor alongside of you. And again, in sun salutation, traditional, this is Uttanasana, forward fold. And from forward fold, we're going to inhale our right foot back, pointing the toes behind us. And we're going to raise our head up, looking back as far as we can. We're going to push our pelvis down to give a good stretch. And you can help balance yourself by placing your palms flat on the floor or on the tips of your fingers. And also, I would remind you at this time, you can use your blocks to help you as well. And now we are going to tuck the toes of the right leg under, and holding the breath, we're going to place our left leg back alongside the right leg and come up into nut pose, also called an inverted V. And in a traditional yoga sun salutations, downward facing dog, Adho Mukha Savasana. And so at this time, I invite you to pedal your feet and take some time to get your breath. And now we're going to do what we call the traditional sun salutation. We're going to take our vinyasa. We're going to go down all the way to our four-limb staff pose, Chaturanga Dandasana. We don't do plank pose here, so we're going to keep our buttocks in the air. Exhale and lower our knees to the floor, pointing our toes, then arching the back, lower the chest and chin or the forehead to the ground. And we should find ourselves in our four-limb staff pose. Now we're going to inhale and push up with our arms, keeping our elbows bent, raising our head and chest up and arch backwards as far as we can. But you need to keep your abdomen and pelvis on the floor. And we will find ourselves in Cobra Pose. We know that Cobra Pose is one of the four-limb staff poses. Please remember to breathe, inhale and exhale. We also invite you at this time, if you wanted to do the traditional sun salutation, you can go to upward facing dog, Urdhva Mukha Savasana. Now we go on to the second half of our posture series, which again, we go into reverse. And so we're gonna go back into the nut pose. Again, downward facing dog. The inverted V, pressing our heels and head to the floor. We're going to inhale and bring the right foot all the way forward between the hands, looking up and back. And if you cannot bring the right foot all the way forward, grab the ankle with the right hand and move it into the position. Push down on the pelvis while looking up and back to give a good stretch. Now I invite you to exhale and place the left foot forward between the hands and straighten the legs so that you are folded over. Hands flat on the floor, fingers in line with the toes. Inhale, and again, keeping your arms extended and aligned with your neck and the back straight, raise up, bending forwards, then stretching straight up, and then all the way backwards. We do not allow the pelvis to push forward, but keep it tucked in. Reach over the head, lifting the arms up, inhale it up. And now exhale and lower your arms to head tap pose, which is prayer position. And then you can lower them all the way down along the side of your body, or putting your palms on top of your thighs in a traditional Tadasana pose. So I know that was a lot, but you did it. So we did traditional sun salutations, and we did the journey of Ra, which is practicing Kemet yoga. So we see the similarities, and that's the benefit of this, is to see how we learn from each tradition. So the traditional, what we understand as traditional yoga coming from India, really is not the traditional. The Kemet yoga is the traditional. We see how India borrowed the poses and the positioning from ancient Egypt. And so at this time, I'm going to do a few more poses with you, standing poses with you. And so I invite you at this time to stand in Tadasana. And one of the poses I want to invite you to practice along with your sun salutations or your journey of Ra is tree pose, Vrikshasana. And so tree pose is about balance. It helps to center the body and the mind. And so I invite you this pose often. Definitely, it helps with your breath. And so it's definitely a good pose to practice your breath with. And so you start in mountain pose where you were, Tadasana. And then you inhale your arms all the way up. Or you can inhale them to prayer positions in the center of your chest. Or you can place your arms on your hips. As you inhale and place your arms, you also need to be lifting up your leg. And so for many of us, that means as we inhale and lift our arms up, we are also lifting up our right or left leg to our ankle. You can bring it further up to our calves. And some people are able to bring it all the way up to their thighs. This is a practice. So don't beat yourself up. Take your time. And you stand in tree pose in the way that benefits you and the way that is most comfortable for you. And so again, let's stand back in mountain pose, Tadasana. And we're going to inhale the arms up, extended mountain pose, or we're going to place our hand in prayer position or on our hips. And you're going to lift the right leg up. Again, to the ankle, to the calves, all the way up to the thigh. And you want to try to take some breaths there. And when you feel comfortable, exhale and lower it down. And now try on the other side. You're standing in Tadasana. You're going to inhale the arms up to your comfortable place, all the way up, prayer, or to your hips. And you're also bringing the left leg up to your ankle, your calf, or all the way up to your thigh. And when you find your comfortable space there, take some breaths. And you're going to exhale it down. And as we continue with our practice, we will do more tree pose. The other pose I want you to get familiar with was a pose that we did in our first session, and it's here again in the Journey of Ra, which is crescent lunge. And we are going to exhale down to forward fold. And from forward fold, we're going to go to crescent lounge. We're going to bring that right leg forward. And we're making sure our other knee is to the ground. And again, use a pad or a blanket. Position the front knee over the ankle. And you can place your hands on the front thigh or reach the arms up alongside the ears or palms facing each other. You want to make sure you press the top of the back foot into the mat or tuck under the toes. Square your hips to face forward. Draw the belly in and up and lengthen the tailbone down and lift your heart up. And this is so good for stretching your body. It helps with your hip flexors, your quads, and so it helps with back bends. So it's very beneficial. And so from there, we're going to exhale down. And now we're going to go to the other leg. We're going to step 1 foot forward. We're going to let the left leg come forward. And we're going to lower the back knee to the ground or to the pad or the blanket. Again, inviting you to place your hands on the front of your thigh or reach your arms up. Again, you can also place them on a block. And you're going to press the top of the back foot into the mat. You're going to square your hips to face forward. You're going to draw the belly in and up and lengthen the tailbone down and lift the heart. And that is crescent lunge, Anjane Asana. The last pose we're going to do for today is, well, we're going to do 2. Chair pose, Uttaka Asana. Chair pose. And so I invite you at this time to bend the knees and sit the hips back and down. Distribute the weight evenly in the feet. Draw your navel to spine. Engage the core. Reach the arms up alongside the ears. I also invite you at this time to use a block. You can place the block in between your thighs if that will help you with balance, and that will ease some of the tension from your back. So one more time, we're going to do chair pose. And chair pose helps to challenge us physically and mentally, right? And so at the same time, while you're doing chair pose, breathe, smile, and hold the posture. And chair pose is going to help us to strengthen our legs, our core, and our spine. So again, inhale. Now we're going to exhale, bend the knees, and sit the hips back and down. Distribute the weight evenly in the feet. Draw the navel to spine. Engage the core. Reach arms up alongside the ears. And if you're not able to reach them up, just place the palms on your hips. And then you want to take some breaths here as well. And that is chair pose, Utthita Asana. So I'm going to be implementing these poses into some of our sessions as we go along. So I wanted to, again, take some time to break it down. And so the last pose, which works well because it's similar to chair pose, is squat pose. It's called the yogi squat, and it's Mala Asana. And so I invite you at this time to take your feet as wide as your mat. Turn your toes out, wider than heels. Let your hips hang heavy towards your heels. Elongate the spine. Draw shoulders down and back. Press hands to heart center with elbows inside of the knees. Okay, so let's take that again. And you can also use your block, and I'll demonstrate that as well. But you're going to take your feet as wide as your mat. Turn your toes out wider than the heels. Let your hips hang heavy towards your heels. Elongate the spine. Draw shoulders down and back. Press hands to heart center with elbows inside of the knees. So I'm going to show you how to do squat pose in three different variations. And one of the things I want to point out is do not lift up your heels. And you don't want rounded shoulders. And continue to breathe, because many people, when they do this pose, they stop breathing. And I just want, and again, at this time, as you practice that on your own, taking your feet as wide as your mat, turning your toes out wider than your heels. Let your hips hang heavy towards your heels. Elongate your spine. Draw your shoulders down and back. Press your hands to heart center with elbows inside of the knees. And so this is a popular pose amongst cultures. People read, they cook, they sit in squat position. And so this is very beneficial, again, for your back, for your digestive system. It's actually the proper way that we should all be sitting. But we know as Westerners, we do not do that. And so I invite you to practice the yogi squat as often as you can. It helps to strengthen the legs. It helps with flexibility in the calves and the ankles and the outer hips. And it also helps us to be able to do those essential movements. And again, it aids in your digestion, as that is key. As Westerners, we do not sit properly. We sit in chairs and cars all days. We actually don't even use the bathroom, sit on the toilet properly, the way that benefits and aids our digestive system. So along with that, as you continue to practice squat pose, be mindful that you may want to get practice squatting as you use the bathroom or before, or the help aid in your digestive system. If you feel stuck or backed up, I know that's a lot, but just think about that because it does aid greatly in your digestion. So again, these are the different poses that we will continuously practice on. I want to reiterate again. I can't reiterate it enough. Please, if you do nothing else, do your sun salutations, do your journey of Ra. You can always go back to the videos and practice. I will continue to try to break things down as best as I can. But the reality is you need to practice to get better at it. And so I thank you for joining me on today. And so what I invite you to do at this time, if you're finished with your squat pose, is to go back to your comfortable seat. I invite you to take some breaths at this time. And now just lower down, take your Savasana, corpse pose. And again, this is just time for you to relax. It's not time for you to think about the movement and the poses that you just did. It's just your time and your moment to relax. Because I had to do spend some extensive time doing the yoga, we're not going to have African dance on this video. So I invite you to practice the steps that you were given in the first two videos for session 3. We're going to just take a break from African dance because in session 4, I want to combine fully the actual poses we're going to do, take it right into the African dance movement. It won't be two separate videos. It'll just go the movement. We'll go into African dance. We'll go into sun salutations. We'll go into journey route, just to see how it's all connected. And again, this is about our liberation, our freedom. This is about honoring our ancestors. This is about us becoming our divine selves. This is about us taking on the characters and the nature of the God, our creator that we serve. So I thank you for joining me. God bless you. Stay hanging out with your Savasana for a few more minutes, and I will see you next week.